everyone, I'm Simona from PPM, and Chris made me do it. So we are back with episode 11, and this time is taking advantage of the season and how we can market the houses best to sell them. Chris,
Yes,
I still
or
pause.
or
Come on. Or
well, I mean, if you want me to score your intro, I'll give you a 4 out of
it's
10.
like
I'll give you a 4. But at least
I
you tried. I can't
I
fault that.
tried.
So,
That's
and I did say to you, you were doing it like 1 minute before. So I'll give. It's fine. It's okay.
not
Um.
good at intros. Don't make me do it, please.
Well, now we know. At least we know now. I can do the next one.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're doing. We're covering off peaks and troughs in the industry. Um. And yeah, how to best take advantage of the peaks and troughs, how you can take advantage of that through your marketing that you're doing when is the right time to start marketing, um, how best to sell your houses, or how best to position your houses during those peaks and troughs, and things like that. So we should start by saying, obviously, it is the middle of summer. It is the 16th of August, and it's funny, really, because a lot of agents sort of closed down during August,
And those who
especially those.
celebrated And
Yeah,
those
go
who
on.
celebrated yesterday have a long
Yes,
weekend, but most of them are out of the office today. So
yes.
basically,
It was
yeah,
it was a bank holiday, and funnily enough, just talking about Spain again. Um, Spain, I think, is it right that Spain has the most amount of bank holidays throughout the year?
I think it's France. I don't
Oh, is
want to
it
say
France?
something, but I think
I must
or
admit,
France has the most. Sorry, or France has the shortest like working week and longer the
uh,
holiday, something like this. So
well, it was
they,
funny, really, because I heard once that that Spain has that many local like fiestas because every town or village has their own day of fiesta, right? I can't remember who said it to me, and it could be wrong. I could be, talking absolute rubbish. But I did hear once that if you timed it right, you'd never have to work a day in your life if you lived in Spain, because
honest,
every day there's somewhere is a festival.
honestly, I used to live in Malta like 6 7 years ago. I used to live there, and Malta is like very very small,
Yeah,
and they celebrate the patron, the patron that is the saint of the neighborhood. Like basically, the cities are like
yeah,
bigger neighborhoods in London,
yeah,
and they'll celebrate exactly as you say. So every week, twice a week, would be like a festa on the streets, celebrating the patron saint for
yeah,
that area.
yeah.
So and they have 365 churches. So
I know.
that is a
It's
country
just
where
one
you
of
can
those
go to
things, isn't
church
it?
every day and not go to the same church like in a year.
Yeah. And it does get hot in a lot of these places as well. Talking about sort of the heat and why a lot of these agents close down, and it is holiday season. People go away with their kids and things like that. Um, but I guess that is going to happen. It's one of the things that happens in real estate, and also a lot of people themselves go on holiday. Right, there aren't that many people who are particularly serious about buying. I think what generally tends to happen, and we might as well kick off with summer because it's summer now. Um, I think a really good way to look at it is that, or generally, what you tend to find is the months of July and August tend to be pretty quiet. It's holiday season; people go away. There aren't really that many serious buyers kicking around. But what you do find is that when you get to the months of September and October, they actually
And
tend
they'll
to
be
be
quite
really
busy.
busy, really busy. I think what people do is they go away on holiday, right? And in their heads, they go, "Oh, well, this is really nice. This
Mhm.
could be," and they start to think a little bit about, if they've thought initially about buying a holiday home, right? But they haven't really got any further than just the early stages. That holiday can actually kickstart that process, because it gives people an idea to experience what the lifestyle could be like if they live there full time. And hence why I think the months of September and October get really, really busy in terms of people wanting to buy, people, going out on these viewing trips. Um, you know, people are at that point where they've done their holiday, they've seen what it's like, they've gone back home to the rainy England or the rainy wherever they are, Scandinavia or, you know, wherever, and they've gone, oh yeah, that's it. I've had enough of here now. I've had enough of the politics. I've had enough of the rain. I've had enough of this, that, and the other. I want to live my life in the sunshine, and this is where I want to be. And then, of course, they start looking a little bit more serious. So I always find it a little bit sort of. I understand why agents do it, and I understand, that it is just too hot to work, and it is holiday season. But at the same time, I'm like, there is an opportunity there,
There is.
just whilst people are out on their holidays, to make sure that your things are in top order. If you run an
That's the
office,
thing. You do
you know,
have thousands of holiday makers, and
yeah,
out of those, even if 10% are interested in having a second look, so you
yeah,
need to tap into that and just prepare some marketing materials or a strategy to approach them somehow, or just
yeah.
present them with something that will go, okay,
Yeah.
we might do
Maybe
it.
one thing that you could do is have a QR code or something. If you have an office front, it is a little bit easier if you have like an office front. But you could have
Yeah,
like a QR code or something on your door, or something that says, we're away on holiday, but please, if you're interested, you can download
look,
our brochure
if
here.
I
You can have a look at something here and things like that. So
sometimes you can be a bit cheeky. So one trick that you can use, and this is like marketing out there, is it's very, very hot. You can put your logo or your QR code on a like paper fan and
yeah,
just give them for free on the beach to holiday makers. They will use
yeah,
them.
yeah,
So just use the simplest thing sometimes to get out there, and people like put a
yeah,
beautiful image on it, put the QR code, don't say anything else, and give
yeah.
them to people. So they will basically, if you give them a leaflet, chances are it's gonna end up somewhere in a pocket or thrown away. If you
Mm,
instead make that leaflet in the shape of a fan that they can use, you're in
yeah.
Spain.
Well, just
So basically,
networking. I mean, I know a lot of agents that do business just off networking, right? And I know it's really cringy, that word eavesdropping, right? And I
mm,
funnily enough, I mean, I'm personally, you can't help it sometimes. You honestly, when you're sitting in a bar and you're having a drink, right, or something, right, something might just catch your ear, and you might go, oh yeah, I can help you there, or oh yeah, I've been down there, it's a really lovely place. And the thing is, on holiday, people are different on holiday, right? People are
they are
naturally
more prone to
are different.
spending. Come on, Chris.
Yeah,
Look,
they're
you're
open to
going on
spending, but
you're
yeah,
going
yeah,
on a holiday and your mindset is spending the budget.
yeah,
It's like doesn't matter if
yeah,
you spend it on excited holiday
yeah,
adventures or if you're spending it on clothes or souvenirs or maybe buying a house, a holiday home. It's just your mindset, it's already there to spend things like I'm on vacation, I'm free, I can
yeah,
forget the worries and the troubles or anything else that is back home with me. So I can finally
yeah,
give it a thought to what I want a bit.
yeah.
And they will go for like, oh, this is nice, I might go for a holiday apartment or
But people are a lot more open as well. They're a lot more chatty, right? They're a lot happier. They're a lot more themselves. And if you just happen to catch somebody, if you're at the bar, or you're sitting anywhere, and you might overhear a conversation and somebody saying, "Oh, this is a really lovely place," or "Have you been there?" or "Have you been there?" It's amazing. You could just make a passing comment and say, "Oh, really sorry, I just happened to overhear your conversation," and "Oh, I've been living here for the past how long it is, and I really recommend you go here, here, and here." It's amazing then, once you open that conversation, you open that door, what people will tell you. And you might just get somebody say to you, or say something like, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if we ended up living here?" Or, "Can you imagine living here?" "Oh, I'm really sorry, I couldn't help it over here. I've lived here for the past, 5 years, and honestly, it's amazing." And then get into that conversation, and then the end of it, just say, "Oh, by the way, yeah, I didn't want to say this at the beginning, but I didn't want to sound too forward, too forceful, but you know, I'm an agent here. If you ever need a hand, or you would like a hand, or you'd like some information, here's my card. Give me a call." It's how you approach that conversation don't force your way in there and be like, "Buy, I'm an agent. Buy with me."
Yeah, it might work. It depends.
It might work.
It
It
might
might
work.
work for some people, but I think for most people, with this whole kind of eavesdropping thing, um, I like to call it more networking than eavesdropping. Right? There is a way that you can make it work as long as the approach is right. But I think more importantly, with regards to offices and things like that, if you are gonna, me personally, I don't think, unless like everyone's away for a week or something, right? I don't think it should ever be the case where agents just shut down for 2 weeks
It rarely is the case.
because there
Usually we
will
get
be people out and about. They
okay.
are, yes,
Usually we do get agencies closing down for winter holidays, so around Christmas time, and they usually
that's
open up
slightly different though.
after. Yeah, so that I think that's the only time in the year where maybe on Easter for a few days,
Yeah,
which
I think that is slightly different though, because if there's two things that you're going to spend time with your family on, right, and where you're less likely to travel is Christmas and Easter. Those are times normally when you spend at home, and those are times normally when the whole world is off, right? I mean, there's a couple of countries, obviously, a couple of religions that don't celebrate Christmas at the same time, but the majority of people um, will spend Christmas at home with the family and Easter at home with the family,
and Chris,
right?
you pointed out correctly. So basically, we do have summer holidays that are busier, and then we
Yeah,
have the Easter and Christmas holidays. So when it comes to marketing, having a seasonal marketing strategy or strategies in this case, because you can have more,
yeah,
is one of the ways to get to your audience.
yeah,
So on this part, if your message or your efforts go towards customizing the way you're approaching clients to the
mm,
events, the local events or the events that are happening in the area and the tradition and the bank holidays, and you know how to put the message out there, this is one way to go through the seasons and
yeah,
make sure your clientele is aware of
yeah,
being present there, so of you being present there, of giving them like up to date
yeah.
insight and basically presenting them to a lifestyle that is current and it keeps up to date. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important here that we're not just talking about bank holidays, because bank holidays traditionally is one day, right? And actually, one day isn't so important. I think the big thing is when agents shut down, and it's more specific during the summer holidays, but it's when they shut down for sort of a week or 2 weeks at a time. Um, Personally, what I would prefer, or what I suggest, is more of an open approach. Um, is when you do reduced hours. For example, you work in the morning and then you have the afternoons off, or you work at the sort of the quieter times. A lot of people, for example, will spend um, their sort of day on the beach, for example, or by the pool, and then they might go out for dinner, for example, or they might go out for an early morning walk and an afternoon walk, and then spend the rest of the time on the beach, right? So again, make your marketing around what people generally do. And I know people don't want to work early mornings and don't want to work late evenings. Of course not. Nobody does. But actually, if you spent a couple of hours, maybe 5 till 7 or something like that, or you opened from sort of, let's say, you know 9 till 11 and then 5 till 7 in the summer hours, you might just catch a few people that way, rather than being open or
Chris,
closed, as it were,
say
throughout the whole day.
agents, yeah, agencies go, so it's one thing to have your office hours open like from in the morning, or and then you have the viewings as well, which are a big
Yes.
part of the agency, and those needs to be basically optimal viewing
Yeah.
basically times.
Yeah.
They need to be in place as well, so maybe in summer when it's very very hot midday, you can have viewings customized upon the time of your, or the time best timing for your client, and put them
Yeah.
early in the morning or late in the afternoon when the heat goes out a bit.
Well, yeah. I mean, specifically more talking about July and August. I mean, I don't think a lot of people. I think there is a very small minority of people that would ever sort of view properties during July and August anyway. I certainly agree with you that if you are going to have viewings, obviously do them at sort of times when it's a little bit cooler. Um, and that is what a lot of agents will do, more specifically in sort of September, October. But in the summer months, I think because a lot of people, do go away, or a lot of the homes probably that are off for sale are being rented out, right? Viewings probably aren't as many during those months. But I do think that having a strategy, I do agree with you that having a strategy that works for the seasons in terms of opening hours and things like that is a really, really good plan
And
moving
not
forward.
only, Chris, not
And
only for that.
you're not going to catch millions, hundreds of people, by doing that. But you might catch one or two. You might catch one or two. Funny enough, I have I went to Portugal recently, right? And this is moving slightly away from the seasons, but I think it's an important note. I went to Portugal recently, and I was walking in this sort of square, which just happened to have 7 or 8 estate agents in it, and it wasn't a massive square, but it's a really popular area. And of course, when you have a really popular area where lots of people want to buy, you have one estate agent open up, and then somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. Anyway, cut long story short, so there's 8 estate agents' offices, and I just thought I'd put a little plan in action. So I went into about 3 of those offices, right? And I just nipped in there and said, "Oh, can I quickly grab a card?" Right? Now, none of those agents tried to quantify me or even tried to qualify me as a potential buyer. Right? None of them. What I got was, "Yeah, sure, that's fine." I was really shocked. Like I was really shocked, to be honest, because I was like, "What are you doing? Like, at least ask my name. At least try and qualify
Were
me as
they
a buyer."
outside working hours?
I mean, I don't know. It was like it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't outside working hours because their offices were open and there were people sat there, right? And admittedly, a couple of them were, in fact, the first one I went into was a relatively small one, so I think there was only about one person in there. But the other one, it was a big office, about 4 people in the office. And I know I just went in and said one of them was quite a small office. I think there was only about one person in there. But the other 2 that I went into were relatively good size, about 4 or 5 people in there. And I know I just nipped in and said, "Can I just quickly grab a card?" But at least try. At least ask me my name. At least say, "Oh, you're here just on holiday," or "Have you got plans or something?" I mean, at least try and qualify me rather than just going, "Yeah, that's fine." Or So anyway, that was kind of just driving away because that kind of shocked me a little bit. And I know not everyone's like that, but at least for all of them to sort of not even bother, I thought was a bit just a bit weird, really. If you're running an estate agency and someone pops in to grab a card, there's at least some kind of interest there, isn't there? Or there's got to be for them to grab a card. So anyway, yeah, that was just I know I was deriving away there, but it was quite interesting for me. But yeah, going back to this whole summer marketing and things. Yes, you're not going to get loads of people sort of walking into the office. I understand that and I get that, but you might catch 1 or 2 if you just adapt a little bit better. So good. All right. So look, moving on to talking about sort of September and October, because they traditionally within real estate tend to be kind of the busier months, don't they? As we said at the beginning. So for me personally, I think if you want to start catching those people, probably around about, let's say, probably the middle of September onwards, you need to be putting that marketing into plan end of August, beginning of September, to start catching those people in terms of what they're going to start seeing online, because a lot of them are going to go back home and they're going to start searching for, they're going to start looking at some of the properties maybe within the area that they've found, or they're going to start researching about that area. So a lot of the marketing that you're going to need to be doing specifically on social media or even on portals, you need to start that slightly earlier rather than trying to catch them at the point where they're actually already booked out and ready to fly.
I think on when it comes to social media, as I said before, you need to customize your the way you're approaching them based on season. So basically, if you're in the summer, you say something like thinking of moving in before like September or catching the sun this summer
Yeah,
in your new home. If you're preparing for September, October, you customize this as well when you're putting your like your questions out there on social media or you're presenting your homes. And also just it's important to address buyers' concern based on seasons. So if
yeah,
you're in the summer, emphasize the pools, the garden, the outdoor for entertaining, air conditioning, everything that has to do with combating or basically enjoying the sun and the heat without problems. If you're
yeah,
approaching September, October, and then the cold season, then you're gonna emphasize on the log burners and like basically the features in the house, like the heating system and everything else that has to do with a well prepared house for the cold season. And
yeah,
also time your posts and your message out there, and this is strictly for social media. Time your graphic to reflect the warm, like basically the warmth of the autumn with those presentation, and the best highlight the best the neighborhoods and the local events that are happening in that area. So it's something that is tied up with all that is happening in that, like in that neighborhood or in that city that you're selling the properties in.
yeah,
As, keep in mind, people buy properties, they also buy into the lifestyle, and they desperately need to find resources out there that is telling them or is showing them how it is to live there day by day. So everything that has to do with closeness to amenities, or I don't know, a short walk to the beach for the beautiful sunsets or something like this. So you
mm,
need to include the seasonal decor in there somehow, and you need to
yeah,
have the community engagement, basically promote the properties based also on how close they are to local events or local
yeah,
squares or any other let's see, cultural or social or outdoor
yeah,
activity that is happening nearby.
yeah.
So you can include this aspect into the selling of the properties. And
You can change your description as well
yeah,
to
change the
reflect
description
that.
to
So, I mean, in fact, actually, you don't even have to change the description. What you, if you want to, you can change the description. But what you can do is as a way of sort of increasing the amount of text you have in that description, not increasing it to the point of where you just increase it because you can increase it, but to the point where you increase it with genuine relevant content
but you
is
can say
basically, yeah, you can break it down. You can say, right, the summer, here's what's, here's what happens locally in the summer, and here's how this house will work for you during the summer. And then you break it down into spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And it works really well. And actually, talking of photos, or moving very quickly onto photographs, because I know that we'll cover that very shortly. It's quite funny how sometimes you'll see properties that are talking about a glorious sea view or a wonderful communal pool and
and you're seeing
garden,
a wall.
and yeah, and you see a wall, but more importantly, is the property might have come on just before the summer, and the photograph is like grey and raining.
It happens. So
you know,
yeah,
it's yeah, and it does get difficult. I understand that. The more properties that you've got on your books, the more time it takes um uh, to make the changes. But I think just thinking about it at the beginning before you sort of start marketing it, just so that you get it right, is quite an important point. It's a bit like saying, again, when you've got a sea view, when you're saying in the description there's a beautiful sea view, and yet I can't find one picture online with the beautiful sea view. I mean, I'm like, hang on a minute, that doesn't make sense. Um, so adapting your marketing messages to the season is important, especially when people are looking at things throughout the course of the year rather than just kind of looking once and then moving on.
I think they also need to pay a bit of attention to what words they are using to describe that property. So, as we discussed, some of them are using largely Chat GPT to make the description, and the software has specific words he's going to use unless you're putting in there some rules. And if you're giving me an expansive outdoor space to entertain, which is the standard phrase, and then I'm presented with a small patio, took a small coffee table and like
Yeah,
stool or something.
that's not an
That is not
expansive
really
place
expensive
space in which
outdoor
to
space to
entertain.
entertain, is it now? So we need to kind of pay attention to this one as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way the images are presenting, and most of them are doing a really great job. So when it comes to the interiors of the house, and even with the gardens and pools and
mm,
everything, they are doing a great job. Granted, there are a few that are putting wobbly photos out there, or blurry, or I don't know, with clutter in, because
yeah,
sometimes you, and I do appreciate, sometimes it's funny, I see the cats, the pets in the, like, I can see a cat or a dog reflection somewhere. So if you know, so that's okay. I just don't want the images to reflect the lack of space. So if you want to
yeah,
present the house, or if you're going to go view a house, it just takes a phone call to like ask the owner to tidy up a bit.
yeah,
Just tidy up the bedrooms, tidy up the bathrooms, tidy
mm,
up, I don't know, garden tools that you might have lying around. It's just those photos are going to stay online for quite a bit, so it might be a
yeah,
few weeks, it might be a few
yeah,
months. So unless you're doing a second viewing to retake those photos and update them, make sure the first set of images that you're taking are the right one from the go.
yeah,
And yeah, if it has a sea view, climb in the solarium and try to capture the sea view, and not just like a glimpse through
yeah,
two trees or
tiny
something like that.
glimpse. But also, don't also one thing is don't fake a photograph either. You know, for the just for the sake of trying to make it look better. I'm not I personally, I'm not a big fan of the airbrushing thing. I never have been because it's not you're
In real
misleading
estate,
people. But
look, in real estate, unless you are a show home, so for all the new builds out there, so, and this is something that we need to mention to a lot of buyers. When it comes to new developments or houses that are under construction, what you're seeing online are renders. So basically,
yeah,
it's everything is generated by the software. Nothing is as it's
yeah,
like, it's not real. What you're seeing, like the beautiful images from the living room and the
yeah.
sofas and the picture perfect decor, so that is all generated online.
The
So in
problem that you
reality,
have with that, the 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 issue that you have with that is a lot of the developers who are out there, um, they can build, they can't market.
because
Really, really bad.
they are not
And
marketing.
some of
It's
the renders that are produced are just terrible. They're really, really bad. And actually, I would much rather if yeah, and they are getting better, right? I think developers cottoned on about 5 or 6 years ago,
most of them are more
and
than decent.
said,
Yeah.
"Oh, geez, these are really terrible photos. We can't send these out." But I think as an agent, um, with if you've got a bad render, I'd rather not use it, to be honest. I'd rather be a lot more particular about what I'm putting up, rather than just putting out a photo for the sake of me having a photo. Um, you know, it is all about impressions and things like that. But I want to go back to talking a little bit more about sort of the seasons directly, um, if we can. So, um, talking of sort of moving up to throughout the year. So obviously September, October, we know it gets nice and busy. Um, so obviously start your marketing kind of end of. I would suggest starting it kind of end of August, um, and then building up from there to make it September, October busy for you. We know that when it kind of gets to November, that's when you can start talking really about Christmas, because there might be a few people that want to spend time in their holiday homes that they've just bought. They might want to spend their first Christmas over there. There's more and more people doing that. You know, the whole winter sun kind of thing, right? So you know, November is probably from the middle of November is probably when it starts to get a little bit quieter again. Then you've got December when most people, as we know, are off. And then kind of it starts again in January, but it tends to start again in January, again, sort of probably end of January. So again, probably no need. I mean, obviously, marketing throughout the year is important, but again, where you start building up again would sort of be middle of Jan. Middle, of Jan is where you kind of want to start really pushing forward with that. And then you keep going throughout sort of February, March, April. April then starts to get a little bit quieter again because it's Easter. And then you go again, sort of, from sort of
Next year is on 5th
May,
May
June,
or
May,
something like
June,
that.
and then May, June. Those are the kind of peaks and troughs in the industry. But I guess what it is constant marketing is great, and you should have a constant marketing strategy. But when it comes to those peaks and troughs, right, when do I need to really start thinking about pumping it up? When do I really need to start thinking about extra promotion? When do I really need to start thinking about taking advantage of this? And when you want to do that is probably a month to 2 weeks before that sort of
I
busy
think
period really starts.
when it comes to peak season preparation, so basically if you know that you're going to have high demand in popular seasons like it's September, October, you're going to start preparing out of end of July and
Yeah,
throughout August, so you
yeah,
can have plenty of listings to show, so you can have plenty of marketing materials prepped up early,
yeah,
so you have them at hand. So yeah, I think give yourself end of July ish and then throughout
yeah,
August, so you can be prepared for September, October, November
yeah.
as well.
To really, really take advantage of that. And actually, if you know that the buying process, and again, agents should know the buying process. You should know that the average buying process is probably going to take around about 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. That's really good if you want people to want to take advantage. So, for example, what you might say is, if you might sort of say something like, um, if you want to be in your house by Christmas, now's a really good time to
Yeah.
buy, because given the buying time frame and things like that. So there's little phrases, there's little sort of hints and tips that you can use to your advantage to really promote um, effectively on things like social media. And you can change your portal strategy as well. It's exactly the same way, or it goes exactly the same way. Those little hints and tips can mean the difference between getting 5 viewings and getting 1 viewing, for example, or getting 5 people out and getting 1 people out. So
I mean, as I said before, basically timing your selling strategy based on local events and seasonal changes is going to be the way to go. So
mm,
yeah, you can use hooks in the description and in the title of the properties, as you said. If you want to catch La Cala Mijas from your own townhouse in Mijas Pueblo, there are 2 more weeks to go. You can put it like that. So basically, yes, get yourself next to a very big event or a known festival or a celebration or touristic like landmark or points of interest, and put the title or the question this way, so people will have actually a tangible point
mm,
to keep to focus on. So
yeah,
if you're selling a house, let's take this time, let's not take Spain, let's take Greece, let's take Crete. We have
yeah,
clients
yeah,
that are in Crete as well. So they have amazing homes with sea view,
yeah,
and honestly with them is like most of their home have amazing sea view, and they do use this like perfectly. They do put these panoramic images with the sea and the mountains, which are spectacular. So on this point with them, I kind of get them because they are starting all the time with a panoramic view and then with all the outdoor space opening up to those views. So
yeah,
it's very easy to sell a house presented from this point of view, because if I want
yeah,
a summer
yeah,
house close to the sea or with a beautiful sea to wake up to, if I
mm,
go onto a website that the first thing I'm seeing is this uninterrupted sea views and all the outdoor space leading to that, then I'm gonna go, okay, let's have a look
yeah,
inside. If you're just
yeah,
starting to present me with a lobby, or I don't know, half rooms with all the doors leading, you're gonna go, okay. Because most of the countries that are selling holiday homes or the ones that you want to retire for sun sunshine and heat, you need outdoor space, you need those vistas
Yeah,
more than you
yeah,
need I know you need the space, maybe to be spacious and bright, but most of us we look for bright, airy outdoor space, a lot of terraces or a garden. Most don't want huge gardens because
yeah,
as I said, you need to highlight the features of a home in order to sell it. So if you're selling it where is extreme, like draft, sometimes, like if you have, like in Spain, on some parts you have like 3 weeks or a month where it's going to be very very hot, you're not going to market a home saying, oh, you have 10 acres of garden that you need to water. Don't start like that. Because I have clients that are gonna go say, but is there irrigation system in the garden? Because basically they are
yeah,
panicking, like
yeah,
this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just sell them a home that says easy to maintain tiled
Mm,
garden or landscape, easy to
mm,
maintain irrigation system in the garden, and then you're gonna go, oh, okay. So
yeah,
I have everything I want, everything is set up. I might go for this house. So it's just the approach, I think,
yeah,
honestly, between selling them what they are looking for and they need, and presenting the same house, just putting the wrong
yeah.
or different aspects first.
I agree.
um
I also think I also think that you need the similar sort of strategy when you're and I know we discussed this originally, um, but I also think it's important to have a similar sort of strategy when you're trying to convince your sellers to try and like when the right time is for them to market their
yeah,
property. Because if you've got a seller and they come to you sort of, let's say, I don't know, October, for example, end of October to sell their property, that's probably too late
great.
because
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
missed that September October busy period. That house is if they come to you sort of end of, let's say they come to you end of October and they want to sell their property,
yeah, but then you're
and
only having like 4 weeks in
yeah,
November. December is kind of dead
exactly.
anyway.
I get that people's circumstances change, but you've got to. I'm going to use the phrase plant the seed. You've got to plant the seed in people's minds at the optimum time to sell as well. And um, again, if your
Okay,
marketing
yeah,
messages of selling your house is not correct, then again, people will come to you at the wrong times and they'll have missed those busy periods. So, and
look,
again,
there is
you know,
hope. Honestly, there is hope even here. So if you have a seller that is gonna come to your agency and say, look, I want my house to be sold mid November. I think as an agent, the best thing you can do is then present that house staged. So go
yeah,
in there, stage that house for Christmas vibes,
yeah,
cozy atmosphere, light up the chimney, do some professional photos
yeah,
with
yeah,
that house presented in this light, and then
yeah,
try to sell it as you said. Want to be in your own cozy house by
yeah,
Christmas? We have a special one that will melt your heart. So
yeah,
present it this way, and you
yeah.
do attract buyers, even
But then
if
you can change
the
it for summer. You see, you can then change that if you still have the house in,
yeah, you can
let's
change it
say,
for
let's say
spring
that,
or
let's
for
say it
summer.
goes, and you have that house, and you still have that house in, March. You might in March then want to change it and then reposition that house and represent
Yeah,
that
reposition
house.
that house
You
for
know?
sunshine and outdoors, and yeah, and basically warm
Yeah,
season. You can do that. I know most of the agents have so many listings, they will not have time to
yeah,
go stage all the houses or as much as they would like. So I think the best they can do is though change titles and customize description
yeah,
each season. So that would be like 4 or 5 times a year. Okay, maybe a few more if you catch a
yeah,
festival that, as I said, is nearby, and just put it like this. So that will be way much easier and will attract attention.
mm,
Uh, and then let's face it, whenever you're listing a property that is in a well-desired area, is not gonna stay on the market for 2 years. It's like rarely the case
yeah,
for a house
yeah,
to stay in a
yeah.
market like 2 years.
I
If
mean,
it's
things are that busy at the moment that agents are struggling to get listings on, let alone
yeah,
anything else. You
I
know?
mean, the on some of the regions in countries there is high demand. So if you're
Mm,
taking Spain, you have some of the regions that are in high demand, and in some other regions they are slowing down, and it's the same everywhere. So
yeah.
I'm guessing at this point, when you're struggling to have, you have high demand and then you have specific demand,
Yeah.
because basically we know buyers, the ones that are retirees or the ones that are looking for a budget holiday home,
Mm,
affordable one. Those are the main ones that are looking for properties under 150K, usually up to 200K, like in this area, starting from 100 to 200. And then you have the buyers that are above this threshold, and they are more picky a bit, because basically
yeah.
they kind of know exactly what they want and they have the budget to afford all the specs.
Yeah.
So those are going to be the buyers that you want to target earlier,
Yeah.
like earlier in the season, just because they do have an image in their mind of how the house wants to be and what features to have or not, and how close to be to
Yeah.
amenities or golf courses. So if you're targeting this audience, then you need to also customize the titles, the description, and to present the house to them from this point of view. So
Yeah.
start with the highest specs or the perks and the advantages of this property, and forget the staging, just put in the best features, and yeah, the best features of the house.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing what what I'm saying is, do not do just a standard description and title for all properties, because it's not going to go anywhere. So if you're putting the same standard description
Yeah.
without customizing a bit or tailoring a
Yeah.
bit to the property, you're not going to get as much interactions as when you're presenting it like as a highlight. I
Yeah.
mean, even the most humble bungalow can be sold to someone that loves bungalows.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Definitely.
if you target that person and you're using the right words, you can sell everything
Yeah.
basically. If
Yeah.
you're not,
Again, the words that you use, as I think, as we said last week, um, in the podcast we did last
yeah,
week, I think it was episode 10, branding and marketing, using those right words are really important, and using the right words in your marketing strategy is really important. And how you present that property and how you present the images or the description or the title is really important. And also, don't forget that the more unique you are, right, the better it is for SEO as well,
and honestly,
because it's unique content. So
something else that is missing completely sometimes, but honestly, most of the times that is missing completely, is the presentation of the neighborhood and the neighborhood appeal. So
yes,
I know they are selling, oh, a beautiful detached 4-bedroom villa in Rojales or Ciudad Quesada. Okay, I don't know anything about the area. So I might have
yeah,
been in a holiday there and to the beach and back, or to friends. I
yeah,
don't know where the pharmacy is. I don't know where the local baker that does the best, I know, cookies or sweet bread is. I don't know. The man that is going to repair my bike if I have a flat tire. So basically,
yeah,
I'm not saying you should list all the businesses out there, but if you have a house that is near shops, or yeah, do say close by to amenities, shops, restaurants. Just at some point, give a specific,
yeah,
like close to, I don't know, Sunshine and Co, which is one of the best breweries to buy yourself the baguette in the morning. Something that will let them know how to orientate themselves in that neighborhood, or just
yeah,
present the neighborhood a bit.
yeah. To be honest, I don't. I personally, for me, I don't think enough enough agents do it. They don't talk enough about um, the local area when they're promoting their properties online, and it's really important because people do want to know about these things. Talking about those various seasons. What is if you're presenting a house in during the summer months. What is there in the summer that happens in the local area that's going to want me that's going to want me, or that's going to get me interested in that property. You know, if if it's close to the beach, well, it's within 5 minutes walking distance of the beach. If there are local markets
Look,
nearby,
look
it's within 5 minutes walk of the local market. If it's a local farrier, then it's near the
at
farrier. If it's all that kind of stuff,
we know what makes the difference. So if you're selling a house that is like within 5 minutes walk to the beach,
yeah,
then when you go to that house, do the 5 minutes walk
yes,
and record it, and then
yeah, yeah.
put it
Make
out
sure it
there
is
so they
actually
can
5 minutes.
they can actually see. You can even speed it up after that. But the
Yeah,
thing is, do it, record it. You don't have to be on camera, just record it with the
yeah,
phone so people can actually see the walk, those five.
yeah,
Because you have different people out there. Some have mobility problems, some are
yeah,
elderly and maybe don't fancy an abrupt descent or
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Some are families with kids and they would want to know if they can take the stroller out there. So just those 5 minutes, you can put a line there, 5 minutes
yeah,
walk to the beach. Okay, how is that 5 minutes walk going? So show me, and you might get 100 people interested more
yeah,
in viewing the walk to the
yeah,
beach
yeah, yeah.
than clicking
You
on
can
just.
one. I think one of the good things actually during the holiday season, right? Whether that's Easter, whether it's Christmas, or whether it's what do they call it in Spain? With the Three Kings, or whether it's the summer. That is actually a prime time, right, for you to go out and film the local area, right? If you are going to shut down and you're not going away anywhere, I know you don't want to work. I get that. But if you are out and about anyway, that's prime time to say, look, this is what it's like in the summer. This is the vibe in the summer. This is the vibe in the winter. This is the vibe in the spring.
And you know
You
what?
can go and do things like that, and it doesn't cost you to do any. It doesn't cost you to do that if you do it whilst you're out and about yourself.
Look, if you go online, so yesterday was a bank holiday in Spain, one of the biggest celebration,
It was
and
a quiet day for me yesterday. There
for
was no one
everyone
about.
in most. Okay, for those, but the thing is, there are parades and festivals and celebrations and local events that happen. You rarely get any peaks from
Yeah,
that. You do get the news. Oh, local festa going on for 3 days.
yeah.
There's
Send me a
rarely an.
picture of it. Send it to me. Let me have a
if
look at
you
it.
are if you're there, if your like friends are there, some take some
Yeah,
pictures,
yeah,
make an album somewhere in your Facebook or Instagram or even on
yeah,
your website on the blog. Say, look, fresh from today's festa, or from like
yeah,
have someone send it. Just put something out there that then will go, oh, so
yeah,
this festival or this, I don't know, flamenco night is happening, or quiz night or trivia or whatever it is that is happening next to that house or in the neighborhood that people
yeah,
can relate to. Because I am buying a house, but as I said, if they are changing, for those that are changing completely and they are retiring there or moving the country to live there, it's a brand new life, which means
yeah,
they will need to resume the daily
yeah.
activities and they will need to have an idea what their life will look on a daily basis there
I mean, even a
in
holiday,
that
even
house,
a holiday home, Simona, even a holiday home. It's
even
just as important
holiday
to do
home.
that for a holiday home as well. You know, just as important. So,
Like you want to
yeah,
know the 2 minutes drive to town, how it is and where you're
yeah,
going if you're forgetting toilet paper in the middle of the night. It's like honestly closeness. You know why? Because on most of the websites we do see this close to amenities or nearby amenities,
yeah. But which
and it's
amenities,
not
for example?
specified.
Mm,
Okay, so if I'm moving 5 minutes drive to the village of Alhaurin Grande, okay, in like
yeah.
okay,
What village
5 minutes.
amenities are there? Yeah, yeah,
It's like okay. When you look online to a property, you need to be at the end, you like the house, you also need to be assured that you have things in the proximity, like reachable even on foot or okay by car, but
yeah,
easily.
yeah,
And most of them, they only have the house. If you get panoramic view, then that will be great, but mostly you have the house and then just the writing. So I think a note, or at least an extra video or something for
yeah,
that property apart
Mm,
from the standard ones, will help a lot when it comes
definitely.
to seasonal presentation of a house. Not for all of them, just
Yeah.
for the ones that you want to make a push on. If you have exclusive listings, if you have high-end listings, or even if you have one of the houses that you want to particularly sell because it's an emergency for the seller, so then you make a push on those and
Yeah.
you try to present them differently than the rest.
Yeah. Definitely. Good. Well, I think a couple of things have come out of this. I think we need to do, or I think we'll probably get a couple of agents asking us the best way to get more listings on board. So I think we need to do a
Honestly,
podcast around that.
we will
We
do a
can do a
podcast
podcast
on
around
that.
that.
You know
Um,
what's a bit strange? You are a local agent and you
yeah,
are supposed to be like connected with your community and be
yeah,
part of the events and know everyone. So at this point,
yeah.
when if you have buyers and you're struggling to find them a property and get new listing in, then that means something is happening on local, like with the local
Sponsorships,
part of the
sponsorships of
communication and
local.
marketing.
Yeah, yeah. You can sponsor local events.
You can do a
I
lot of
don't know
things.
if a lot of the events in Spain, for example, a lot of these communities in Spain, I'm not
Look,
sure if they take sponsorships, but if they do, make the inquiries. See if you can get
it's not.
a sponsor or something.
Look, local agencies don't have to only sponsor events. You can sponsor golf events, local golf events, or competition or
Yeah,
something, but you don't have to actually wait to sponsor an event twice a year to get
yeah,
involved with the local community. You can start your own event, like you can start a community event, for example, I don't know, cleaning up or tidying up a local portion of a beach or planting some
yeah,
trees in an area, or I don't know, creating a kids playground somewhere. Do something
yeah.
for the
Like a
community.
community meetup or something. Yeah,
Do something
exactly.
like do
Like an
a
expat
community
meetup.
event,
Yeah, yeah,
or yeah, set up a community event, even if it's, for example, keeping like a workshop, a free for
mm,
everyone sponsored workshop with like free lemonade for everyone
yeah,
that wants to know more about the legislation or the latest rules that
yeah,
change. Do something like this for the community where you invite your local elderly population to attend, make them
yeah,
specifically for them, give them a nice cool lemonade, and put them up to date with the latest when it comes to, okay, passing their house to their kids or any other thing that might interest them. So you can do that on like once a month or every 2 months.
yeah,
You don't have to particularly sponsor, you can just create it and
yeah,
you
yeah.
can offer
Definitely
value,
create awareness. Yeah,
create awareness and offer value to them and offer them help that you already
yeah,
like share your knowledge.
yeah,
And out of those people, some of them will come back to you, their kids will come back to you, or they will come back to you to resell their house or to
yeah,
find them maybe if they downsize another house or if they upgrade to a better house. They will come back to you just because you will be that person or that agency,
yeah,
that business that is creating these social events. They
yeah,
cannot, serious ones that they can attend for free, that they are reliable, they get knowledge and
yeah.
reliable knowledge and basically connections from you.
I've heard some people talk about sort of becoming the local guide, as it were. And I think that's really important, specifically if you are taking people out and about on viewing trips, right? When they are going to buy property with you, you effectively have become that local their local guide. They are putting their trust in you. And as the agent at that particular point, right, you are their local guide. So it's important to know everything there is to know about that area that you're selling or that area that you're in. And yeah, I think the community things and sponsorships are a really good idea. Get your name out, get your brand out. Um, I know that there are some agents, for example, that have local relationships with bars and restaurants, right? And it's a simple thing. It's very simple. It's like even just a beer mat. And I know that beer mats, right? I know that they can get ruined and they can get lost and things like that.
Yeah.
But even little things like that have got,
Oh,
you
come
know,
on. You can
your name on it or something. So
you don't do the beer mats. You can sponsor the karaoke night and give the
yeah,
prize, the best
exactly.
prize to the winner of the
Yeah,
night. So there are
yeah,
so many things that you can do locally. You
yeah,
don't have to spend a lot of money on the budget. You just have to be creative. So basically, just get involved with your friends and
yeah,
family and the local community. And I'm
yeah,
pretty sure you can do a lot of things to get your brand out there. And it's not about when you're in a local community, like in a specific area, not a very, very big city, just specific regions. It's very easy if you're getting involved and you're creating and helping others, because then they will know you by your character, by the
yeah,
your actions,
yeah,
not
yeah,
particularly by your logo, and they will start referring to you first as a person. Oh, or
yeah,
those guys
yeah,
from
yeah,
the agency. They will
yeah,
not just look at you as just a simple real estate agent trying to sell them or
yeah,
buy a house. So from this point of view, you will be a person, an entity that is helping them, and they will look
yeah,
to you and like you because of this.
yeah,
So they will be more prone to recommend you further.
yeah,
So this is what is shifting when you're getting involved in your local community. So you can do tiny steps that together will make the community go, oh, you're doing a lot of things for us. So yeah, that's good.
yeah.
It's not particularly working if you're covering an entire country, because then the whole marketing strategy
You
changes
can't
and you
sponsor.
have to,
Just put a great big sign on a mountain.
yeah, just do a mural. So honestly take the biggest, like, underdeveloped or a building that needs revamp and do the biggest mural ever with like Spanish tradition or Cretan traditions on it, like a high quality mural that will become a landmark and Instagram point.
Yeah, do a Banksy.
And
Do a Banksy.
yeah, so sometimes things work differently. It's just, I think, customizing and adapting your strategies and the way you
Yeah,
communicate to your environment, it's the best you can do.
it
And
is for
when
sure.
it comes to season, you have so much material to play with.
Mm.
So from the way you're presenting the houses to the way you're approaching the potential clients, there is so much free content out there, because basically the festivals, the concerts,
Yeah,
the fiestas,
yeah,
they are
yeah,
happening already. All you
yeah,
have to do is just go out there, do the images, do the materials, highlight that somehow,
yeah.
and link yourself and link your properties to those events, or yeah, to
Definitely,
those events.
definitely. Good. All right. Well, look, I know that we've spoken about it, but we are going to do a live event at some point, um, which will be the first time for us. But I think I hope it'll go really well, as long as we get agents joining us on it. Right?
Mm.
If we don't get any agents joining us on it, I don't really know what we're going to do. It may just be us talking about the weather. But we're definitely going to do a live event at some point. So if you would like to come on board on that live event, do just let us know, so at least that we can expect you. Again, if you've got any questions or anything about today's episode, or about any of our previous episodes, then please do ask. And apart from that, I think it's time to wrap up. So
Do I have to
yeah.
wrap it? Okay.
So yeah. So have a good weekend, one and all, and speak to you next week.
Yep.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm gonna do
Bye.
the intro better.
Yeah, you're doing the intro again next week.